And we're back with some more Factorio, and I have been given advice on how to proceed with the space age stuff. Turns out you can build here without being here. You don't need to be here to build on your space platform, as long as it has stuff on board. So if we go, give us more foundation, say. Uh, okay, that is really cool. Okay, those animations, absolutely, they're awesome. I should probably cancel those. Yeah, those are... We're probably out of parts, are we? Yes, we are out of parts. Okay, we're going to need a lot more resources up here. So, first things first, I really should put productivity modules in here, but I'm not going to do it for a while just because it seems to really annoy some people, like, so much. So I think just a little bit longer... Oh, and I should disable this. Yeah, we're going to need a whole bunch of these, aren't we? Yeah, let's start firing these into space. Deliver cargo, please. We're going to need to put a lot of stuff on this spaceship station. So now, according to this, we now have 50 space platforms foundations. All right, seems fairly straightforward. We'll just get ourselves some space in here. Done. Yeah, we have more supplies coming up in a little bit. We launched the second rocket. Go on, seriously? Hey, done. Now we got to figure out what we're going to put on here. Nope. Yeah, here comes more. So, where are you? Asteroid collector. Collect smaller asteroids. Yeah. So, we're going to need blue... Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to have to chuck all of those into a rocket. We have delivered some of the necessary resources. It actually gets quite a ton of stuff up here with each rocket. First things there first is asteroid collector. Okay, so has to go on the edge of the ship. Anything that comes within range. Alright, so we should probably build out a bit of a collection area. Do we want to go lengthwise or widthwise? Or we're going to be building it in a square? No, we're just going to have to build it and probably rip bunches of it out later. So we'll just start with what we got and work our way from there. Hey, you. Why are you not... asteroid chunk filter. Metallic, carbonic. Go with metallic. Why are you not building? Consumes electricity. We may wish to put down some solar panels. 50 solar panels is 1 ton. Oh, I should probably point out, putting on, say, 100 blue chips is only a third of a ton, so you can send 300 blue chips at a time. There seems to be, like, you want to be able to mix and match what you send up depending on what the day is. We've also got a second rocket silo we're firing up here just so that we can send more stuff at a time until we figure out what we're doing. Might take a little time. I still don't know why that's not constructing. Okay, I get it. I'm an idiot. So we should make this stuff on the ground and fire it up. I've sent up solar panels, so solar panels can generate power. And then if we want to build them, we just, well, place them down. Thing is, one second. The solar panels are actually in their inventory. This thing can't take the raw resources and craft something. We have to craft it, and then... bugger, in that case, you can... all go? Orbital quick drop? Is there... How do I get rid of you guys? Huh. Okay, so that's how we send resources down. Got it. So, time to build a bunch of that stuff down here and send it up there. Okay, so now that we've got our little... That's actually pretty cool. You want to grab something else? The moment anything comes in range of that... Come on. It grabs it. Grabs it. And now we actually have carbonic chunks, oxide, whatever. This is interesting. I've been advised during daytime we produce 100% of power output drops to 0. I heard there's no nighttime in space, so this should always be on. Scientific research. Yeah, we should probably start white science somehow. How do we make it? Ice, 2 iron plate, and 1 carbon. Okay, you're going to crush metallic asteroids, and for that, you're going to need an inserter. So, well, we're just gonna really mess this about. Okay, I think we kind of got this. This inserter will rip out everything and throw it onto this transport belt. This transport belt, we're gonna take the, what's this called? Metallic asteroid chunk? That goes straight into iron ore. My god, a 1 metallic asteroid chunk becomes 20 iron ore? Oh god. We're gonna need to, like, make an entire factory up here, and we're going to need so much flooring. So much. Like, just huge amounts of flooring. Like, think about it, just even the power supply alone. No, first, like, let's not panic. Let's not panic. Let's just figure out what each thing turns into. There's only, what, 3 resources we can get up here? Which is basically oxide, metallic, and carbonic. So let's see what each one's worth. Alright, looking through it here, metallic asteroids are basically only good for one thing. Making iron. That's it. Also, they can output metallic asteroid chunk. Means I think we're going to have to start recycling this back into themselves, or something. Anyway, these guys over here, carbonic asteroids, they produce carbon, and 20% of it turns into more carbonic asteroid. And then finally, we got your oxide ones, which produce ice, and 20% of their own, like, just to complicate things. So, why would we build a factory up here? Why wouldn't we just send all this stuff back to Earth, and then use Earth to process it all? I mean, oh, not Earth, but whatever's, like, downstairs. So, what we have here is dumb. Like, just so dumb. We collect all the asteroid stuff. In fact, I'm just going to turn off iron. We don't need it. Oh, promethium, cool. We'll take carbonic, take oxide, and we'll take promethium, but we don't want the iron anymore. As far as I can tell, the iron ore is pointless. We're just going to, like, send this home. Yeah, all the iron ore can go. All we really care about then is, well, the carbon and the ice? I think that's it, right? I mean, I'll have to double check some stuff, but I think we don't care about anything else. Yeah, I'm just looking at this, and to make space science, all we need is ice, 2 iron plate, and 1 carbon. So realistically, we could just drop the ice and carbon down to the surface, and we could even drop down the iron ore and just feed that onto our iron bus. Like, there's no point building the space science in space unless you absolutely have to build it in space. Is there a mandatory requirement that space science must be produced in space? You know what, let's just find out by chucking some of this down to the surface. You can go and you can go. Once you land, we can check if it's possible to make space science on land. Okay, so we've brought all this stuff down to the surface, and there seems to be these are gravity 0 meters per second squared. So basically, you can't build space science in gravity, which is probably why it's called space science. Right, so we're going to have to build the whole thing in space. So there's a whole bunch of leftover iron ore that we don't need. I'm thinking we just dump that iron ore onto the start of our bus. I mean, we're going to need it for all the steel we're making. So I think we take you and we move you. And this here can strain some of the iron ore out of space when we don't need it anymore. Also, we could have just dumped it in space, but I'd prefer to actually get a use out of that. It's just a cheaper way of getting iron ore. Actually, that might have been a way to... Yeah, I can see what people were talking about now. If I had went to space earlier, I could have sourced a whole bunch of iron ore from there. Assuming you invested a whole bunch of steel and other components. Oh, actually, considering the amount of resources we'd have to launch into space, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, let's launch a few more platforms up there and get started on well, what we really got to do, which is build a space science production facility in space. I have come up with a very dumb plan just to start and get a sort of a handle on this. We're basically going to take all the resources, process them, and dump them in here, and then from there sort them and do stuff with them. Also, we can put efficiency modules up here, which means we won't need as many solar panels, hopefully. Alright, and let's expand this base out a bit. I should really start hotkeying some of these things. I think a few more solar panels wouldn't hurt either. And you are going to fill up incredibly quickly. Now, one thing we want to do is... one of the outputs of these guys is more asteroids, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. What we can do is say, put you there, and put you there. Excellent. So... we shall just take you and done. There, that way we recycle all the asteroids that end back up in there. Now we have to start processing that stuff into something useful, and then taking the excess and getting rid of it somehow. Yes, that could take me a second. The way I figured is, worst case scenario, we dump a bunch of stuff either back home, or we dump that stuff into the background of space. We're probably not going to need all the iron ore and all the carbon. Yeah, ice might be the limiting factor. So, continuing with the theme of stupidly simple, all the resources get dumped in here, like so. These grab the resources, they get dumped on this belt and just spin around in circles. Then they get picked up by these as and when is necessary. And then they output their iron, carbon, and ice all the way along here, along with some leftover asteroids. They all get dumped in here. The leftover asteroids get scooped back out for reprocessing, and then the carbon goes this direction, the ice comes out this direction, and the iron ore comes out this direction where it gets turned into iron plate. And then we're gonna have to start getting our hands on... Yeah, that's actually... There, perfect. I probably should have put that one there in the first place. And then you can go here. And all three of them combined produce white science. Now I just got to get red inserters up here so we can somehow get that back to the export location. Right, that should be our first white science. How many science packs does it make? 5 science packs every 15 seconds? Yeah. We're not going to need that much of these, are we? Did about 45 science per minute just to knock out some of the basic stuff, and then we can get off this planet and goof... Well, we'll have to build another platform to get off this planet, but that can come later. First, let's expand this out a bit. A little bit of moving stuff around. Now all the science pops out here and gets dumped back into the space platform hub. Yeah, we're going to have to launch a bunch of that into space. I think I'm going to have to use some automation to start getting rid of stuff. Like, if we put... Let me just check. We want to check the 3 main resources, right? So when it comes to iron ore, when it comes to carbon, and finally when it comes to ice, we want to make sure we have all of those in sufficient quantities. But once we've got more than we need, we just stop. So one for you, and one for you. This way we can set up some automation on them as well. No, not copper wire. Make red wire. Fine. You go to there. No, wait. Ah. Perfect. Now you. What do we want as an automation signal on you? So, if iron ore is greater than 500, we want you to enable. Great, then it should start emptying that out until it's below the 500. Okay, I think that's enough. Yeah, it's fine. We've got... Alright, so it keeps the ore exactly where you want it. Then we'll just do the same thing with pretty much everything else. Okay, so that means the system can't back up anymore. And we have... Oh, we have plenty of white science packs coming in. We're probably going to expand this on in a second, but for now, we want to find a way to automatically send all white science down to Earth. After some testing, here's what we have learned. Basically, you can build 1 cargo landing pad per surface. That's it. If you try and build a second one, it just tells you you can't. You can only build 1 cargo landing pad per surface. Then what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey there, we would like you to pull down white science. And make that, 2000 to infinite. Yeah, go for it. And that should request science from our space-based thingy. And then we just feed it into our science labs. Like that. And here comes the first batch of science now. And what you go right there. Get rid of that. Give us just a standard power thingy. And done. Perfect. That gets white science to where it needs to go. Now all we have to do is crank it up. See, wait, no, we have to decide what's the first thing we're going to research. Productivity modules Mark II, yes. Speed modules Mark II, yes. And what's that cost? That costs 200, easy peasy. Ooh, quality modules. I don't think I want to get into that just yet. I would advise that gets real crazy. Space platform, engines. You know what? Let the first 2 finish. We'll worry about that in a minute. For now, what we want to do, expand science production, which should just be a case of extending this out like more and more each direction. All we're going to do here is just sort of keep going left. I mean, why not? Yeah, something along those lines. Worst case scenario, we'll just have to buy more, whatever, platform thingies. So, pretty straightforward here. We're just sort of extending this on to give ourselves more space to harvest more asteroids to feed into the system to produce more science. I don't think we're producing much science. 8.2 a minute. We need to get it up to about 70 or so. But it's literally just extend. Ooh, Ooh, logistics chests. This could actually save us a bunch of effort when building this thing up. Yeah, and the excess resources are getting dumped, so we don't have to care. There must be the big asteroids, but they don't seem to be bothering us. I've been advised that you only have to deal with small asteroids on your starter planet. No, I'm just going to keep expanding this out. I'm having a little fun with this asteroid collector thing. It's actually pretty handy to expand out. I mean, we could probably make this more efficient and play around a bunch, but we've got the resources that we can just do this. And you watch it grow. Like, that's the only way to describe this platform. It's organically growing. Well, okay, it's not organic, but you get what I mean. It looks... I don't have a thing up here. 1 second. But this means that we're getting in... we're actually stockpiling up ice, carbon, all that stuff, and we are now producing about 100 white science per minute, or 100 space science. That was super cheap to do. Like, maybe it took a bunch of rockets to get some stuff up here, but by and large, that's done. Like, this is going to keep firing down science to our planet for as long as we want it. Our real bottleneck, like, this is super cheap. The real bottleneck is this stuff on the planet, which we've already kind of sorted out. In fact, let's go check on our science over here. Yeah, white science is flooding in, and next little bottlenecks, green and red. Gonna have to upgrade those with improved assembling machines. Yeah, that might take a minute, though. That will probably redline our grid if I start going around doing that higgly-piggly. We need some more solar first. Solar-wise, I just chucked down another quick solar stamp down here just to keep us going, but we're not really gasping for power just yet. You can see, if we put this on the last 10 hours, you can see here where we switched to the new, where we added in the new solar, it's added all that extra accumulator power. So we're still not coming close to actually draining our grid, but I have plans now. The thing is, since the space science was not really as hard as we thought it was going to be, there's been some minor changes up here. Turns out, yeah, all we needed was one line. So we basically stretched this out really long to maximize the harvesting potential. And we even put some around here just to make sure we get everything we possibly could. This thing churns out science at about... I'll check it over the last minute. It's about 100 science per minute. More space science than we can use. We can expand this out later and do whatever we want, but for now, we're just going to leave this here. Oh. This is backed up, hasn't it? Yep, we've got too much science. Oh no. Yeah, we can solve that quite easily, just by spending the science. Alright, in the background I knocked out Korvax enrichment. It's like 1,000 science, it's pretty handy, but what I really want to knock out is the atomic bomb. Nukes just make life so much simpler. Alright, that should launch a bunch of science down to the planet the moment that starts getting consumed. And I should probably come up with some sort of overflow for this, shouldn't I? There. Much simpler. We should always have access to science now, and that's done? Yeah. I should maybe lock down a few slots. Or is there a way to even... No, you can't. Ah! Well, I'll see if this jams up. There'll probably be some messing around I'll have to do. But by and large, I think this should do the job. Alright, I changed that to go that direction. The science now has a clear path to this. We're basically using this as the loading area. We could probably get rid of some of the stuff in here. It's not worth firing it back down to the planet. We can expand this out again later, and we're going to need to. The goal here is... Well, I kind of want to get fancier armor, or fancier quality armor. Oh, we should really start on that immediately. Over here I started grabbing some Speed 2 modules. All we do is we get Speed 1 modules and feed them into the Speed 2 and done. But what I think we're going to do now is get quality modules. And we're going to start maxing those out. So we're going to want you... Quality 1 modules, please. And then we will set those two to do that. And then these two should be quality 3 modules. Yes, please. And copy that over to those two. Done. And we'll just clear out the system. Okay, this should start making quality modules. And the moment we get our first quality 2 modules, we'll start putting them into the quality 2 machines. That should hopefully start increasing the quality we get out of them. You know what? I'll go through it as it happens. But we're going to be throwing away a bunch of this stuff, and we don't really care just yet. We're going to switch over to nuclear power. We're going to chuck down a big nuclear power plant, probably somewhere over here. There's lots of free space. And we're going to get our hands on nukes. That is going to allow us to clear cliffs. That means we're going to have to set up a whole Korvax enrichment plant. But at the end of the day, what we really want to do is get quality armor. This here is the current armor we're wearing, Power Armor Mark II. Now, what we could do is wait for ages until we gain access to a bunch more stuff and recyclers to try and crank out a good quality power armor. Thing is, I would prefer the bonus this gives. This gives an equipment grid bonus if you get... We can get up to rare. There's normal, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, but we need different tech for epic and legendary. We don't have that yet. But we can, on this current planet, gain access to rare stuff. It'll take a little bit of grinding and a little bit of manual lists, but that would give us a 12 by 12 grid. And by 12 by 12 grid, I'm talking about this grid here. So you'll notice it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 tiles wide and 10 tiles deep. But we can get that to 12 by 12, which would give us 2 extra tiles to the right, 2 extra tiles to the left, and it'd actually be 4 extra in the corner, but whatever. That just means we have a whole bunch of extra space. Then we're going to get better everything in here. It'll take a little bit of time, but that means when we go to a new planet, we'll just be set up a little bit nicer. I'd like to just do it now instead of waiting. What are you? You are excellent. Quality modules. Done. Manually insert a quality module into a module slot. Make it better. Okay. So, what's happened now is this thing's going to slow down the machine. Minus 5% per module, but it gives it a 2% chance of increasing the quality. So 2, 4, 6, 8. There's an 8% chance that the module outputted out of this will be of a higher quality. It might happen. It's just not very probable just yet. But we can start increasing the probability of that by getting higher and higher quality modules and sticking them in there. This might take me a minute. A few minor changes here. All we've done is remove the chests and have them all flood down here. And then we've just set up 3 filtered inserters. This one's set to grab commons, this one's set to grab uncommons, and this one's set to grab, I don't know, whatever the triple blue one is. Basically, lowest level, second level, third level. And it just grabs them as necessary. We've only got 1 level 2 module so far. Now, let's just grab one of these and one of the regular ones, and we can check the differences between them. This one gives a quality bonus of plus 2.6%, and this one gives a quality bonus of 2%. Well, basically, it's not the quality, it's the chance. So this actually gives about 25% chance higher probability of getting yourself a higher quality item. Then all we do is we just pop back over here, and we swap that in there. Done. And then we just keep doing that until all of them are full of the highest quality modules. And this just increases the chances of getting those quality modules faster. Then we got to go and start backfilling stuff. As in, we got to get all the green and the blues and the red circuits, and we still got to start upgrading them. Yeah, there's going to be a whole thing. But I think first we should probably do nuclear power. Actually, no. First we should do Korvax enrichment. Then we should do nuclear power. Actually, wait, no. First, we should find a patch of uranium ore, a large patch of uranium ore, and then we should do nuclear power. You know, that's too close to the edge. Looking around, we've got a 4.7 patch of uranium ore right there. That's the biggest patch we can see. Yeah, we're going to grab that, and we're going to have to make a train station for it. Yep, and we'll probably drop it off around here and do a Korvax enrichment center and a little nuclear weapons program. We need to destroy cliffs, and we can't get cliff explosives. I think nukes are probably the best bet then. And let's have a quick go over Korvax enrichment and why it is so useful. Whenever you get your uranium ore and you process it into, well, uranium, you have a small chance of getting the shiny stuff and a much higher chance of getting the dull stuff. Uranium-235 is the shiny, uranium-238 is the dull, but if you're going to remember those numbers, good luck to you. It's too hard to remember. I prefer shiny dull. So, Korvax enrichment, what it allows you to do is you can grab 40 shiny uranium, 5 dull uranium, spin them around a bunch, and then it will take 3 dull uranium and turn it into 1 shiny uranium, spitting out, well, the 40 shiny uranium you already had plus 1, and then 2 dull uranium because 3 of it's been consumed. Now, to make things absolutely fun and annoying all at the same time, what they make sure happens is, let's just grab 40 of this, grabbing all the necessary bits to just do 1 craft, we're going to chuck it into the machine. Now, to be extra annoying, what they do is, just stick in some speed modules for now to speed this along. To be extra annoying, what they do is, when this finishes its processing, it doesn't just spit out 1 uranium, 1 shiny uranium. What it does is it spits out all of the resources you put in. So the 41 shiny uranium and 2 dull uranium all get spit out all at once, and then you have to load all of that right back into the machine. This was just done to make things more annoying and confusing for you, and make it much harder to set things up. And here we go. And as you notice, it has to pull all of the resources out. This just makes it super inconvenient to set these up automatically, but that's okay. We have a plan. First off, give me all that shiny stuff. And then we can start turning these around. Yeah, would you look at that. Got a nice thick belt of solid uranium coming down here. We're going to send it over to our Korvax enrichment process. Now, running 1 Korvax enrichment will give you enough power to, well, will give you enough shiny uranium to run nuclear power, but we want to use it for nukes as well, so we're going to have to go a little bit stranger. All right, what we're going to do is we are going to dump a bunch of shiny uranium in here. And then what's going to happen is, well, this dull uranium is going to get to the end of the line and start feeding onto the system. Over here we have the rail network. This is where we're going to actually ship in the raw uranium and get it processed here. This will turn all the raw uranium into processed uranium, either dull or shiny, and then that'll get fed into the system. But for now, we're just going to use the stuff we've got in storage. Oh, if any shiny uranium comes down here, it'll get sent down this section. We don't have to worry about that for now, but it's just something to be aware of. All right, now I don't really need these inserters. I could just feed this directly onto the line, but I want to just be thorough and make sure there's no sneak-throughs. So what's happening here is all of this dull uranium is getting dumped into the system, and it's starting to fill up all of these Corvex enrichment processes. Problem is, none of them have any shiny uranium yet. Not going to worry about that. I'm just going to let this filter through the system. Normally, if you were firing this up, you'd probably dump a bunch of regular uranium in here. In fact, let's just do that now. I suppose it'd probably be simpler. Perfect. Here, we will dump in all the dull uranium. And this is going to start processing. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to take out you and you. What we want to do is make sure that there's nothing else near the system. When this finishes processing, what's going to happen is it's going to get spit out here by this one stack inserter. And then it's going to try and zip by these two stack inserters, and they're immediately going to go, no, 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 and they're going to grab all the necessary shiny stuff, and probably some of the dull stuff, and dump it right back into the machine. But at the same time, we've got another inserter over here, and that's going to pick up some of the shiny stuff, or the dull stuff as we need it. And boom, the machine starts up again. And you'll notice it's now up to, it's got an actual spare shiny uranium in there. So what'll happen is this will keep processing, and after about 40 processes, it'll start releasing uranium, because it's going to keep 40 in reserve. So let's just fill her up. Yeah, we'll leave it at that, and then I'll kind of show you what happens as it starts to spin down the line. And as it finishes, it's going to have more uranium inside than it needs. It's going to spit out a bunch of the shiny, and then more of the shiny moves on along down to this one. And this one starts to collect the shiny uranium. And then once this gets up to 40 uranium, it will start processing. And then once it's full, it'll start overflowing to the next, and to the next, and to the next, and all the way down. So eventually all of these machines will be busy processing uranium. In fact, what? You don't need any more of that. You don't need any more of that. We're just going to start filling all of these with the basic amount so that they all start processing. And done. I really should speed module these, but I'll do that later. Or actually, I should productivity module them. Power-wise, this would do a lot to our grid. However, this here, shiny uranium eventually is going to overflow all the way to the end. When it does overflow all the way to the end, what will happen is it'll get to this, and so we go, okay, we're going to filter out the shiny. All the dull stuff can go on and get fed back into the system. All the shiny stuff will get sent down here and get sent back this way. At which point, you know what, there's a little bit too much there. These inserters will see, hey, are you short on shiny? If you are, we'll pick it up. And then it will come down here and start filling up this one. And then once this row will start filling up. And then it will come down here and start filling up this one. And then this row will start filling up. And eventually, yep, the fourth row. So eventually all 4 rows will be processing shiny uranium. And once all 4 of them are processing, we'll then have loads of shiny uranium to actually build nukes. This is completely unnecessary for nuclear reactors, though. You need, like, one of these can power a bunch of nuclear reactors. This is only if you want to go, well, mass nuclear missiles. Now, all we gotta do is start feeding in the raw uranium. That means we're going to need a sulfuric acid loading station as well. I have been looking at this uranium, but it's not in a great position. We're surrounded by cliffs on most sides, and the one exit out is already taken up by copper. The other exit out is taken up by iron, so we're going to need to blast a way clear. I think it's time we threw down a quick nuclear weapons production, just so we can get a few rockets out. Hey, atomic bomb is finished. Downsides, though, I'd forgotten that it takes 100 shiny uranium to make this work. I thought it was like 1 or 5 or something. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought it was an awful lot cheaper. Right, oh, over here, we have actually got our hands on one level 2 quality module, or rare. So we've got lots of uncommons, but we've only got 1 rare so far. Well, that's in the Mark II, as in the Quality Module Mark II. The Quality Module Marks I, they're produced like 4 times as much as the other ones. So we've actually ended up with a few of those. So we've got 18 Quality Modules that are rare. Now all we need to do is get our hands on some, well, rare processing units, rare advanced circuits, and we can actually just churn out. We can take the, if you have all 3 items going into this were rare, or sorry, uncommon. If all 3 items going into this were uncommon, the output will definitely be uncommon, and we'd have a chance of actually getting a rare, or a much higher chance of getting a rare. As in, we could up everything's level, everything one level. That might be a while. Also, we're having a little bit of a petroleum problem. I drained an awful lot of petroleum to make sulfuric acid. Way too much sulfuric acid. It was accidental, sort of. You see, to mine uranium, you need a sulfuric acid, which we have been pumping so far. But for our remote uranium patch we're planning on we're going to need some, well, portable sulfuric acid. So we've put this little double-headed train. You don't need a lot of sulfuric acid, so one train is usually sufficient, and I make it double-headed just in case, so that it can go anywhere, and it's really easy to just slot in somewhere near a mine without having to worry too much about threading it onto the grid. But yeah, making 4 tanks full of sulfuric acid took a lot of petroleum, which drained all our reserves. That's okay. That's okay. We'll soon be caught back up in no time. Once I realized that, well, we were going to need 100 uranium per missile, I started going around and doing some manual expansion. Basically taking the excess uranium out of these, let's say. And I think I may have grabbed that while it was mid-processing. It's still got a little bit extra. And then what I do is, after clearing one out, I'd find one that's not working, and we would just load that up with uranium and continue on and on and on. Now, I kind of want to put speed modules in all of these, but that means I'd have to go down and start clearing out this area. Actually, or clear out over here as well. And I don't want to have to start driving around in the tank, clearing out those areas just to get our uranium going. We're just about to get the uranium going, in which case we can go nuke them far faster. Well, this is finally starting to get up to speed. We're going to speed beacon this later and put speed modules or productivity modules in it. But for now, we're trying to keep our pollution cloud down. Which you'll see, this one here is just about filling up, and it's starting to spread to the lower ones, and we've manually filled all the rest. So this is now churning out a decent amount of enriched uranium. Soon we'll be able to start mass producing nukes. Well, not too soon. But I've just grabbed 100 uranium that was lying around the place, and I've decided to chuck it into this. We should be able to grab ourselves 1 nuke for now, just to get our uranium production, well, our uranium mine going. And that should be it. I've even stuck in some quality modules. Do we need the quality modules? No. But we're going to chuck them in anyway and see if we get a higher quality nuke. It might be fun. Alright, now, these guys over here, we'll come back to them in a minute, but what I've been doing is getting prepped to, well, try and farm higher end components. You see, what we need to do is get, well, rare. Here, let me try and point out. See these guys here, these rare ones? We want to get a rare armor set, and the only way to guarantee we get a rare armor set is if we have 60 processing units that are rare, 40 electric engine units that are rare, same at low density structure, 100 rare speed modules and 100 rare efficiency modules. Pretty hard. We'll be able to get the uncommon one, I'd say, pretty handy, but the rare one might be a bit trickier. So to help with that, we've installed a few bits and bobs. So, over here, this is Blue Chips. Blue Chips has 1 quality module in it. It slows it down a little bit, but it gives it a 2% quality chance, which means 2% chance every time this thing produces a chip, it gives a higher quality chip. And 1 out of every 100 of those higher quality chips will be a rare chip. So right now we've got 27 uncommons and 2 rares. And if we save up long enough, well, we'll have the 60 necessary. I've also done the same thing with red and green circuits. So green circuits over here, you can see we got loads of rare greens. So what we can do is, when we need to mix and match stuff, where's the reds as well? Ah, yes, over here. We've also got some rare reds coming in. And these things only require red, green, and I don't know if the sulfuric acid will cause us problems, because you can't get rare sulfuric acid. So we might not be able to make rare blues just by, well, uncommon blues. Damn it. By just chucking these machines full of rare red and green chips. But we'll find out. So this way, I'm just sort of stockpiling this stuff in the background. It doesn't really affect the production of our factory. And we should hopefully be able to get some of the sub-components we need. We've done the same thing with low-density structure. That hasn't been used too much. And electric motors as well. Just in case. Now, where's that nuke? Excellent. Now, all we need is a rocket launcher. Oh, yeah, I should have built that already, shouldn't I? We could manually craft ourselves a single rocket launcher, but if we're going to fire a nuke, we want to see if we get... Okay, we got an uncommon rocket launcher to start. That is, good stuff. Uncommon rocket launcher and an uncommon nuke. Seriously, a second one? What's the percentage chance on this? It's only a 10% chance that each one will be a quality one. And then I think it's like a 1% chance we'll get a rare. But I'd like to get a rare. If you don't know what the bonuses are when you're looking at these things, just hold down Alt on your keyboard and left click on an item. And it brings you up this thing. It's basically the Factoriopedia. Oh, that's awkward. Now, you see that little blue symbol there? That blue symbol means its quality is affected. So you can scroll down, you see there's nothing but range. So having a higher or an uncommon one takes the range from 36 to 39.6, and getting a rare would give us a range of 43.2. And considering how cheap this is, we might just brute force making a bunch of them until we eventually get our hands on a rare. How many can stack? Stack size 5. You know what? Have the whole case. Worst case scenario, we'll just trash it. This thing only costs 5 iron plate, 5 iron gears, and 5 electronic circuits. Considering how much resources we're burning, Alright, let's go clear our train station. This is our uranium patch, and this is the cliff face that's going to cause us problems. So, I want to get a decent distance from this. Right about there? Yeah, worst case scenario, we can make a second nuke. Okay, doesn't clear as much cliff as I was hoping. Gonna need to pop out a second one, maybe even a third just to clear that up, but yeah. I think in terms of cliff explosives, we're covered for now. Finally, you can see the uranium there? The shiny stuff is coming all the way to the end. The dark stuff gets recycled. Shiny goes to the end of the No, keeps going on. Yeah, it's filling up this one now. Once this one hits capacity, it'll start overflowing down the line, and then both of them will be spewing, and then, yeah, all the way along. We're just going to grab 100 uranium out of some of these. Yeah, we've got 40, 19. Actually, I'll grab 200 just in case. Judging by that, if we put it about there, get a little bit away. Beautiful. I think that's the entire cliff face gone. I think that's all we need. And now we switch away from nukes. Never have your nukes selected when you're wandering around the place, because one accidental spacebar later and yeah, you've just blown up your base. Now, let's stick in a train station for our uranium pickup. To make sure the nukes never stop flowing, what we've done is we've set up a uranium mine out here, the 4.7 million, and with our nuke explosions, we've been able to cut away the cliffs to make this just a little bit easier to tap into the grid, or our train network, which is horrifyingly squiggly. But hey, everything's just in about straight lines and corners. That's literally all you do. Simplest way to do trains I've ever found. Alright, now, when it comes to uranium, though, you do need that sulfuric acid. So we've got this little spur down here. Basically, just a single line to bring in acid. Because you need very little of it. There's no point building a 4x4 train or anything like that. You just, one train and done. Use sulfuric acid, drop off. Off you go. It's got a full load of sulfuric acid, and it'll be along shortly. And once it starts pumping, all of this shall start moving. And here it comes now. So this tank can only hold a third of what this can. So this thing should be able to fill it, and then it won't leave immediately. Yeah, there we go. All the uranium's coming down. That'll get spread out and sent into this. That's grand. Oh, do I have enough? Yep, I definitely got all of the efficiency modules in there to make sure the pollution will be minimized. And that's it. We just leave this here. It'll do its job. They'll pop back and forth. They'll top up on the sulfuric acid they need. They'll grab all of that. And done. That should keep us in uranium for quite some time. Now let's head back to base. We should be able to automate that. Let's just say go to sulfuric acid pickup. And then we'll give you some rocket fuel and go. And this way we don't have to do any driving. We don't have to carry the tank with us. Easy peasy. Why drive when you can be driven? Ooh, yeah, now that's the uranium we wanted. Now we just have to add that to the bus, and we can automate nuke production. Oh, a quick stop back, and would you look at that? A rare missile launcher. Hell yeah. And, oh, damn it, it's filled up with junk again. Yeah, I already emptied this of the standard ones because there was already junk. But if you want to get rid of ones, in fact, we can turn this off now. You are good. Yeah, no, we don't need any more. You're golden. You're golden. What we do here is we just go, give me all of that, and we chuck it into a wooden chest. This is the time-honored tradition of disposing of junk that you don't want in your inventory. I might actually keep the uncommons. I don't know if there's any reason to do that, but I'll try. Then you just make sure your machine gun is ejected, not your atomic bombs, and then just shoot them. And done. Resources disposed of, and now we're just left with a trunk full of uncommon rocket launchers that we will probably never have use for. One thing I would just really like to knock out right now is get some rare modules in here. This thing only has uncommons, and so far we've only produced 4 rare modules. 4 rare level 2 modules. We've got plenty of level 1 modules that are rare. So, what we're going to do is we're going to grab some rare blue chips, rare red chips. Let's see, how many rare blues have we got? Nope, wrong chest. Here we go. 7 rare blues? That's not enough. Actually, tell you what, we'll go with the uncommons. So give me the uncommons. The reds, I'm also going to need your uncommons. Oh, wow. That's a lot of uncommons. Okay, that's a whole bunch of uncommons for both of those. And then over here, we do have one last ingredient we would like, and that is a bunch of uncommon quality modules. Excellent. Now we have 3 stacks of uncommons. What we're going to do is as follows. You are going to be... Ooh. I think I'm going to make some changes here just to cover us. You. Yep, this is only temporary. We want to take our highest amount of our best modules that we've currently got. And then what we're going to do with this thing is feed it all of our uncommon circuits. So, there's our uncommon reds. Oh. Damn it, I think I know what's going on here. I have to say this, ingredient quality. We have to select the ingredient quality or it won't let us put it in there. So there we go. Now we'll accept level 2. So level 2, and finally... Oh. There, level 2. And then we'll just say... Oh, chuck that out. So, the chance that this spits out a level or rare module, or the one with the 3 blue dots, is about 12.8%. That's why we put in the bestest modules in there, just to maximize our chances. This should allow us, all I want to do is get 4 more of those quality modules, and then we can have both of these working at maximum capacity, or at highest odds. Then we can switch over to producing other things like speed modules and things like that. No, it's a level 2. Now, and you can't use speed modules on these. If you start grabbing speed modules like this, it actually reduces quality. So it's minus 10% quality for each speed module. Now, there's ways at higher levels to help with speed modules, and like there's a whole bunch of mathematical formulas you can fry your noodle with. We're really low down here. We're just grinding out a few of these, and because of that, we are not messing with any of that stuff. Hey, there's our first manufactured one. Excellent. In that case, you can start getting fed back in here. That worked out really well. Fortunately or unfortunately, whatever way you want to look at it, we only managed to get 2 level 3 quality modules. It's still 50% more than we had, so I'm not going to complain. Okay. I know we haven't actually left the planet yet. In fact, we should probably do the research for that. The Space Platform Thruster. This one's interesting in that you can melt ice to turn into water. I mean, theoretically, you could stick a nuclear power plant in space, right? No, never mind. We'll worry about that later. For now, I just want to point out what we're doing and why. First up, we have piped all of the shiny uranium over here so we can make some nukes. The nukes are going to help us buy ourselves a little bit of space because they're about to start polluting an awful lot more. See, the only reason we're staying here right now is for 2 things. One is to get the Power Armor Mark II up and running, the improved version, the rare version of it, and grab a few bits and pieces for it, like the portable fission reactor and all that. Now, that may seem very difficult to get, but it's not actually that bad. For example, we need 60 blue processing units, rare ones, and 100 efficiency modules and 100 speed modules rare, the level 1 versions. That sounds like that would be a nightmare to get, but as long as we do just a little bit of finagling, it's not that bad. We'll grab 200 advanced circuits here, actually. We will grab the rare ones up here. Yeah, we'll grab 104 of the rare circuits. We'll combine that with 188 of the rare green chips. Then we can just pop over here. Excellent. Now, this one requires 20 green circuits. Easy peasy. Nope. 1 second. We need to change this. And 1, 2, 3. Oh. And done. This will produce definitely 1 rare processor. So with the 168 we have there, it takes 20 each. That means we've got enough for 8 super rare processors right here, just in that. And then when it comes to building these efficiency modules, same thing again. we can just chuck in the necessary ingredients. In this case, I believe it's 5 and 5. Yeah? Yeah, 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And oh yeah, I left all the green chips over here. But the thing is, we're not actually just mass producing these and hoping to hit the ones we need. We literally are just producing smaller, like the reds, the greens, the blue chips, and then we process them when we hit it rich, when we strike it rich. And we're using bunches of these to knock out science, so it's not like we've got any waste. We're only just extracting the ones that work out. And we don't really need to hit a huge amount of them. Okay, we're going to need a decent amount, but we're not going to need an enormous amount to make it work. All we need is 60 blue chips. 60 rare blue chips, not that hard to obtain. Same with the speed modules, the efficiency modules, the low density structure. The electric engine units might be a bit trickier. They are quite small, the amount we're producing. So what we'll do is we'll just double down, we'll add in more efficiency modules in here. And then what we'll do is... Yeah, this takes green circuits. So what we can do is we can start efficiency moduling or quality moduling the basic engines, so that then we have a chance of using them to boost up these ones. Just a little bit of finagling here and there. And that should get us to the armor relatively quickly. And then we can go straight into space. And, ooh, that's a big tasty pile of uranium. Oh, now I want to go nuke a nest just before we go. You see, normally a nest like this would be a pain in the butt. You'd have to circle strafe it and... Nah. Nuke it. Ha ha ha. Nope, let's just kill it again. Nuke it with fire, brother. It is the only way. And problem solved. And if you can make nukes fast enough and with enough efficiency, you don't really care if you're just, like, spamming nukes at everything. But I'd probably go around with the tank, and the tank is pretty much an autocannon right now. You see, the tank has received a substantial amount of upgrades, so now when it just fires like this. That's the cannon. And each one of those shells can pass straight through a nest, killing it. It's ridiculous. Not as good as the nukes, but still, it's amazing what technology will do for you. I did a bit of a refit on this in the background because it jammed up. And what we've got here is, well, a whole bunch of inserters. Basically, if this thing goes above a certain number of just about anything, it spits it out. This way it can never jam up. What happened before was we jammed up with asteroids. The asteroids got stuck in here and they couldn't get out. Because they couldn't get out, nothing else could go in, and this thing was fully jammed with asteroids as well, so the whole system just seals up and nothing could be made. So right now, we even toss excess research. Anything excess, ice, iron, carbon, research, even asteroids. We've got it set that if we have more than 2 iron asteroids, 2 carbon asteroids, or 2 oxide asteroids, they're all tossed as well. This way the whole thing keeps running, and it never stops. In the last hour, this thing has produced 100 research per minute on average. And we can crank that up if we want just by extending this on a bit. The real big question is, where do we send this ship once we've built it? See, we've got 3 planets to choose from. The one I'm least interested in is Gelba, namely because of, just looking at the tech here, there's nothing cool. It's like bacterium cultivation, bioflux. There's no even, biological weaponry stuff as far as I can tell. Basically just gooey things. Interesting one is Fulgora. This one comes with mech armor so that we can become one with the machine. Also, improved roboports for better, distribution of stuff. Processing unit productivity, which means you can get more processing units out than you put it. Like it's a bonus to productivity for producing the blue processing units, which are usually bloody expensive. Also, you get a recycler. So if you want to go really hardcore into the quality modules, and there's a quality module Mark III here, you can basically feed what doesn't work into the recycler. You get 25% of it back, and then you can just keep recycling until you get what you want. It's very resource inefficient, it seems, but it seems interesting. Or it seems like a good pick down there. But I also like the look of Vulcanus. I've been advised this is probably where you'll set up your mega factory because it's just really good for production, and I can see why. You get access to foundries, which seem to run on a whole different thing that Vulcanus has its own production thing, so it's effectively infinite, it seems. You also get these giant mining drills, which are just basically bigger, better, faster mining drills that can also mine tungsten. And you gain access to turbo transport belt, which I really want to get my hands on. Speed modules are, okay. Low density structure, a new form of low density structure productivity. So, you can get more low density structure out than you put it, or you get a 10% bonus to productivity, basically. You also get cliff explosives. Don't really need those so much anymore, but the one that really interests me as well is asteroid reprocessing. This one is interesting because it allows you to take, say, a metallic asteroid, and you can craft it instead into 40% metallic, 20% carbonic, 20% oxide, meaning you can effectively convert an asteroid type from one to another and end up with more ice. It would be nice to get more oxide asteroids because that's usually what scuppers you in terms of getting things done. But I'll see what the comments think. I would be voting for either Volcanus or Fulgora. I am not going to Gelb. The place just sounds wet and nasty. I live in Ireland already. I've already got enough dampness in my life. Thank you. Anyway, I should probably do some testing to figure out how we're going to get thrusters on our ship, how big we're going to make it, if we can cram a nuclear reactor on, how much ice melting we can get, and whether or not we should actually get some upgraded parts for the ship, like maybe some... Ooh, bonus asteroid collector. Like if we get an uncommon one, it's got 44 storage, bigger collection area. Ooh, collector arms move faster. An extra collector arm? And more health. Actually, those things look amazing. We might actually pump a few of those onto the ship. What about engines? Do they get quality? Yes, each engine can be... If you get a quality engine, it can move faster. That seems good. And it requires like steel processor, electric engine unit. Hell, all we have to do is stick some of those quality modules on our steel production. That's one of the reasons we're getting nukes is, well, our pollution cloud is about to get a lot larger because we're going to stop caring about the efficiency because we're just going to chuck on some nuclear power. Nuclear power, get rid of the efficiency module, go with quality instead, put in some speed beacons on things that don't need quality, and our pollution cloud is going to get massive. So I've queued up a whole bunch of laser turrets. Going to clear out a chunk down here, and then we can just pollute to our heart's content. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.